Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Three River Blades. This is where we make all handmade knives in the US of A. So, what are we going to talk about today? Very simply, we're going to talk about should I start knife making? More specifically, we're going to talk about is it a good idea to do it as a side hustle? Alright guys, if you're like me that grew up in the 80s and 90s, then you probably watched all those awesome Kung Fu movies or maybe ninja movies. And what that started me doing was getting into the martial arts. I really liked martial arts when growing up. I also took a number of classes with the martial arts and I thought it was really cool. As I started getting on in life, I figured that, well, ninjas use really cool swords and I like swords, but I can't afford swords. So maybe I should start making my own. Then I started making knives for myself and man, it was ugly. But then what happened was this awesome thing called YouTube, where we get on YouTube, we find out how we use different techniques and we learn a lot of information and then we practice those techniques. And what that did for me was, well, I now have a side business. So is it worth it for you to have a side business? Specifically something that is knife making? Well, the only thing I can tell you is I hope you have a lot of passion, a lot of patience, and some money. When I say money, I don't mean you have to start off buying $2,000 grinders. You should probably start off small. I do have a video where you can make things just with regular hand tools. It doesn't take that much. You should also understand that there's two different types of way to make knives. One is the old world heat and beat method, where you're taking a piece of steel and you're going to beat it until it looks like a knife. You still will need some refinement with grinders, but for me it's always been grinding, mostly because of where I live. I am not allowed to have open fires. They have to be at least 10 feet from the house, and I just don't have the facility to do so. But if you're somebody that lives in the country somewhere and you have open land, then by all means do both methods, but eventually you will need a grinder. If you're somebody that's going to do this for a business as opposed to just doing one-ofs or one of a time or one of a kinds, then you're going to have to invest some money in tools. Tools can become very expensive. You can get tools from Grizzly. Grizzly is usually where a lot of people start. They usually start with like a 1x30 grinder. Although that's not a bad place to start. I've also had one from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's another good place to buy tools, but eventually those tools will run out and break. Now let's talk about material. Material is going to be your big one. That's going to be your big cost. You're going to have to buy belts. You're going to have to buy steel. I know there's a lot of guys that are going to go out there and take car parts and all kinds of things and do all that kind of stuff, but that is a lot of work to do. Unless you have a place where you can just buy leaf springs, then that's fine. Also, handle material, glue, pins, cleaning supplies, a good open ventilated area. All those things are completely necessary in order for you to run a clean and safe shop. Now the first couple of knives are going to look really bad. I'm just telling you right now, they're just not going to look good. Buffugly is the word. Then you're also going to want something to mark your knives. You could either use the stamp method or you can use acid etching, and there's a couple other different ways. I'm not going to go into it right now. Let's also not forget the sheath. You're going to have something to put it in, some way to attach it to your belt, a pack, and nobody wants to walk around with a knife. Well, maybe. In any case, understand this. It's going to cost you some money. So I hope that you are ready to spend some money because you're passionate about this thing. And we do need craftsmen. We do need people that learn these skills. You can make a living doing it. Alright, let's say you got everything. You got everything together that you needed. You got all your supplies. You got the place to do it. Now we're going to talk about something that's extremely important to me. Time. Time is one of the most important commodities if you are going to run any type of side business or full business. I myself work full-time. I have a family of 4. Kids got to go to school. Bills got to get paid. Mama's got to eat. All that good stuff has to have time allotted. So what I do for me is not necessarily going to work for you, but on the weekends and maybe after work, when I'm done with my work day, you're going to find me in the shop. That's when I'm doing all my work. Now that I got my time allotted, I figured all that out. The wife's not going to be too upset because we are going to try to make a little bit extra money, even though a lot of money got sunk into it in the beginning. She doesn't need to know about that. We're going to figure that out later. Okay, so you made your first design, and I'm not going to talk about the knife basics right here, but let's say you made something that you're very, very proud of, and you sell it. If you sell that knife, and let's talk about multiples for a second, once you have multiples, that's how you start making money. I don't know anybody that has made a lot of money just selling one knife. So if you buy that piece of steel or get it water jetted or laser cutted, whatever it is you decide to do, you're going to make a line of knives. But you know what? One line of knives is probably not going to do it. People like variety. Yes, it is your second job or your business or your passion, whichever way you want to call it, but it is going to be work. Fees. Let's talk about fees for a minute. Some way, somehow, you're going to have to get your product out of your shop into their hands. The only way I know how to do that is to do it over the internet. Okay, a lot of people are going to take some type of fee. So if you use Venmo, PayPal, some type of gateway for your credit card machines, either way, there's going to be some fee involved. Now, I know there are some free apps out there. Cash is still number one, but I don't know if I want to go to Arkansas to just deliver a knife and somebody give me cash. It's probably going to be a little bit too expensive for that. But I will ship it to them because that's what we do. We are running a business. Fees, shipping, all that stuff is going to come into play. Also, taxation. Taxation, that's right. If you live in the United States of America, they are going to take taxes depending on your state and local taxation rules. Here, I think in New York, you can make up to $600, and then after that, everything else is taxable. So you will have to contact an accountant, and you'll have to get all that stuff sorted out because any money that you make counts as income. And if you're smart and you have an LLC or a business, you have a better way of writing that off. But if you don't, Uncle Sam's gonna want it. So after that's all said and done, how do I continue business? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You get on things like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you start making a ton of videos. You make as many videos as you can, you put out all the pictures that you can, you invest in some other equipment, such as digital media, photography, some lights, that kind of thing. Hey, maybe better yet, throw some t-shirts in there, okay? Anything you can to promote that brand. More money. Let's say you had enough and you just like, you know what, I really like this is my thing. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. In order for you to make enough money to cover all your expenses, you're gonna have to do some math. How much do you need to survive right now in a month? So you got mortgage, you got car payments, you got bills, you gotta pay the electric, you gotta keep all the lights on, all the gas on, you gotta make sure that the kids have some lunch, all that kind of stuff. Let's say it's roughly $2,000, and for me it's probably a little bit more because I live in a city that's a little bit more expensive. Let's do some very simple basic math here. Let's say $2,000 per month is what you need to live. So you pay your mortgage, you pay your rent, you pay the car bill, you make sure that the kids have some food, not ramen noodles to eat, and every now and then you want to take Mama Bear out to eat. So you need $2,000 per month just to live, That's not for emergencies or insurance or anything else. Okay? You take 20 of those days because you decided you didn't want to work weekends because you want to do things with the kids and the family, and you're going to work. You need to make, out of those 20 days, $100 per day. Now, like I said, knife making is not knife selling. So every single day you need to make $100. So let's talk about real math now. If you have to make $100 per day and your costs of material, electric, the glue, the handle scales, all that stuff, remember, gross income is not net income. So whatever you get from all the knife sales has to be divided or cut up to what you have to equal that $100 per day. So really what I'm trying to say is your knives have to look good, sell well, sell fast, and sell as many as you can to recoup your cost to make that $2,000 per month. Okay, so why do you think we should do this? I mean, obviously it's a lot of money invested, it's a lot of time invested. Here's why. If you are passionate about something, then do it. Nobody's going to stand in your way. I think it's a fantastic way to build the trades back in this country. Everything is outsourced. We're not talking about China where they have factories and they're just ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk and pushing stuff out. Listen, as Americans, I get it. We are cheap merchants. We like stuff now. We like stuff fast. I get it, 100%. I don't want to wait 2 days. That's why I pay Amazon Prime. I get it next day ship because that's the way everybody else is and that's the way I am. But we're talking about a trade here. We're talking about a skill. We're talking about taking a knife or something that you made in the comfort of your shop with these two hands in the United States of America and put it in another family's hands and said, take this piece. This is going to be in your family for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life. And especially if you're giving it to somebody as a gift. There's nothing more humbling than getting something or receiving something that was handmade, looks gorgeous, and will be in that family's lifetime. So, don't be afraid to do a side hustle, all right? Everybody wants to make that money, but it doesn't always come easy. You're gonna have to invest a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of dust, a lot of money to get things off the ground. But once you're off the ground and people start to notice your work, they're gonna come around. Thank you guys. Go to 3riverblades.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, put that thumbs up and that little bell icon thing. Click all that stuff. Go on to the links down below. Check out all the things that I have down there. If you want to be a Patreon member, become a Patreon member. Only costs you $1 a month. Get on the mailing list. That is the only place that I am sending discount codes. So if you're not on that mailing list, you're not getting it. And as always, guys, please stay safe.